Hello, welcome to my second ever YouTube video. Today we are going to be talking about the realities of self-worth and how, caring too much about what other people think of you will lower your perception of one's own worth, or, your own value that you perceive yourself to be within society, or just your ability to achieve your goals and pursue things that you want to pursue. So the first thing I want to talk about is people and circumstances shouldn't determine how your life goes. Your reaction and your action to it should. So basically what this means is whatever people say about you, whether it's positive or negative, let's go down like the negative route first. If someone says something negative to you and you take it personally, you are going to start to alter the way that you do that action in the future. Whereas a person that has good self-worth knows that whatever action they're doing is good for them, is helping them get to where they want to be in life, and is helping them be a better person. So if you're somebody that tries to take things personally a bit too much, I've definitely been on that spectrum before. But when you take things personally too much, especially when people say things that are bad about you, it basically like innately just tells your brain like, hey, we shouldn't be doing this sort of thing the way that we want to do it anymore. And then you start confining to what other people are doing, which makes you less likely to be successful in the way that you want to be. It is less likely for you to want to go out of your way to try something new, get new experiences. And when you look at it on the positive side of things, let's just say someone compliments you, it gives you that drive to keep going. I think what happens is, how this could be bad is if someone compliments you and you also take that pretty personally, you start to kind of look for other people's attention. So you kind of want to have more people compliment you in that exact same way. Whereas like you should take a compliment like you should feel good about your compliment, but it shouldn't be the impact of how your day is. Like if someone compliments you, that's a good thing and you should feel good about that, but it shouldn't determine how your day goes. Like your day should go good if you want it to go good, or if you're not having a bad day, then it should, like, you having a bad day should not be because somebody else told you something negative. Also, don't blame others for your past mistakes. What this does is, if you put blame onto everything else but yourself, you are lowering the expectations you put on yourself. And basically what this means is, let's just say that I am, let's just say I'm going to like the gym like a few days a week, and then I end up not really seeing much progress, and like I start blaming it on the like tips that people gave me. I start blaming it on like maybe you watched like a YouTube video here and there that you didn't really find helpful, and you're blaming it on that. You don't want to blame it on outside sources. You don't want to even you more want to put it on yourself to say, hey, maybe I should work harder. Hey, maybe if I really want to see this progress with this, then I should put in more work. And I think what a lot of people do is they like to divert the blame away from themselves because they don't like to feel like bad about themselves, and like to blame it on other people and other things and other ideas that they had in their head from those other people and references, that pretty much what happens is you start to have lower and lower expectations for yourself. I'm not saying you should have like, you know, you should always have high expectations for yourself, but you shouldn't like be overdoing it to an extent. So you should just do whatever, you know, you feel like is best. Like if you're improving each and every day, that's a good thing. You shouldn't just, you know, go from 0 to 100 in the span of like a week. You should, you know, moderately progress it up, you know, maybe go from 0 to 5, and then, you know, from 5 to 10, and then, you know, so on until you get to like, you know, that cap that you think you can get to. But if you start to continuously blame stuff on other people, you start to not like yourself because you have such low expectations for yourself that you basically consider yourself worthless. And I've gone through that before because of how I've taken stuff personally from other people. And I think what some people need to realize is it's not about what they say about you, it's what about you say about you. Because at the end of the day, you're the one that's constantly talking to yourself, and those people are, you know, constantly talking to themselves and living their own lives with their inner monologue. But you need to have inner monologue that makes it so you know what you want to do and you know how to get there without having these this flawed perception of everybody is against you, or, you know, everybody wants to see you, or I guess everything, it's everybody else's fault pretty much. You need to take some accountability for yourself. Next thing I want to talk about is like being unique and true to yourself is what makes you interesting, and that would innately improve your self-worth. I talked about this in my first video, because when you are yourself, people look at you with more respect and they find you just more interesting in general because you're different from everybody else who is pretending. And the reality is most people keep themselves stuck in their own social like bubble, like within the these societal standards, and it prevents them from feeling like or wanting to have their own thoughts and personality that separates them from others. So why do people do this? People do this because they do not want to ever feel like they are, you know, different from everybody else, because they want to have this, you know, they want to have connection, and they feel like the easiest way to get connection is for just being like everybody else, because when you're like everybody else, you can, you know, you have an easier time like quote unquote fitting in. But when you are yourself, you're able to build stronger connections than you are when you are pretending. It's maybe easier to find like people to hang out with if you are not yourself, because you can just hang out with anybody who's just pretending. But if you find somebody who's very genuine in themselves and you are yourself and you guys have a bond, that bond will be stronger than any bond that you make when you are pretending or in that version of yourself that is not fully you. So an example of this, there was something I read in my junior year of high school. It's called The Allegory of the Cave. And you've probably heard about this before, but if you haven't, it's basically like where everybody thinks that they're, you know, underground and they really can't, you know, get up and see the sun. I think I'm remembering it like correctly like that. But somehow somebody's able to get up and realizes that the outside world is, you know, pretty beautiful and like pretty vast, and starts like trying to tell everybody like, hey guys, like it's pretty great up here, but nobody else wants to go with him. And the way I would compare that to what I'm talking about in this video is that in the video, or in real life, everybody is like the people in the cave, and until you start being yourself, you are not going to want to leave the cave and experience new things, as I was talking about earlier. And experiencing new things and, you know, finding like that deep human connection that you know is, you know, real and not, you know, fake when you surround yourself with, you know, friends and other people that you probably have a feeling like wouldn't like you if you actually ended up being yourself is not healthy. And when you're able to finally like leave the cave like the guy did, you'll be able to see life from a whole new perspective, because you will actually be being yourself in life, which is actually pretty crazy to think about, because when you think about it, you've probably not been yourself for a large portion of your life. Like when you get into elementary school, you kind of, first learn about like what it feels like to be embarrassed, what it feels like to be judged, and that kind of progresses to, a higher standard as you get older. And it never really goes away into adulthood for most people. But if you're able to, learn from past mistakes and past experiences and really like analyze your own life, you can sort of realize like, hey, like, are these people that I want to surround myself with forever? Are these, is this the right situations I'm getting into? But the bottom line is, you will find people you want to surround yourself with when you are yourself. And if you care too much about what the wrong crowd thinks of you, or what the wrong people, or just what anybody thinks of you, it's going to lower your self-worth and the perception of yourself. Thank you guys all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.